The vault was my prison, but I escaped. When the chamber spat me out, I was dazed and confused. I questioned who I was and what my role was in this new world. Those questions have gone. I know my role. The sole survivor's role is to help others in need. But above all else, find the man who tore my world apart. Mama Murphy had given me my next destination for answers to all my questions. Once I have taken Corvega and given the settlers the good news, I will head to Diamond City and start my mission for revenge. Corvega was once the pride of Lexington's local government, employing hundreds of people from the local area, all making sure the plant ran 24/7. It had seen better days. All the noise and commotion I created downstairs drew all the raiders from the area to me. There was only a few security lights around. The place was eerily quiet. Dogmeat had been getting himself into too much trouble lately. I would not forgive myself if I let him get seriously hurt, so I told him to wait here for me. I think he understood. And then I headed deeper into Corvega. For the first time since finding Dogmeat, I was completely alone. Opening the door, I startled someone the other side. I could see them coming up the stairs. I decided I would let them get a little bit closer, so I would not miss them. Once again, my aim was true and the raider fell. I waited, but there was no sign that anybody else had heard my gunshot. I may have had a false sense of security, but I headed into the room. The room was far from empty. A machine gun turret was at the far end of the room. This could prove fatal if I was not careful. My backpack was full of explosives. Maybe it was time to start to use some. I found a spot the turret could not see me, and then I started to scan the room. And then he walked past the door. I did not hesitate. I opened fire. Once again, a raider seemed to get stronger when I shot him. Let's see how he would cope with fire. I ran, then hid, all the time the turret firing upon me. I could hear someone die, and then another raider appeared. He was dead, and I was badly wounded. This was not something I could walk off. I needed medical attention. And for this, I should find somewhere safe from all the gunfire. The gunfire in the distance was not for me, but the turret was disposing of some zombies. I used this time to see to my wounds. I bandaged up my wounds to stop them bleeding. And I had a Stimpack to kill the pain and heal me. And finished the treatment off with a warm bottle of Nuka-Cola. And all the time the raiders continued to kill the zombies who were once their allies.
Here we go. Some of them now. Like it. Come on. It's over. Must have run off. Relax.
There was at least 2 of them left. Their arguing only helped me find them easier.
And get back to your patrol. Don't get your panties in a twist. What was that?
At the top of the stairs was a dead raider. It was only a matter of time before he would turn. I did something foolish and I walked past him, thinking I had time. But I did not. But my foolish acts had not finished. I tried to run past him for safety. He got a hit in. I did not know it then, but the zombie did not cut me, so I would not turn into one of them. But it was many stressful days before I would be sure. Another raider was on the top floor. My accuracy would be tested once more. But I don't think he ever knew I was there. All I had to do now was get past this turret. I was not going to risk attacking this one. There was plenty of cover, so I could sneak right past it.
Too fucking quiet.
Once again, I was not alone. I soon changed that. One of the dead raiders was carrying a rather impressive pipe pistol, with a scope, a large mag, but most of all built to a higher quality. This was a good upgrade, so I left my other pipe pistol behind and headed further into Corvega. This place was a maze, but I knew I did not have to kill every raider, but just kill off their leaders, and enough of the rest so they would not be a trouble in the future. I just had to find their leaders. I walked straight into one of the raiders. She fell to my new pistol. Damn, this gun's powerful.
What the hell was that? Hey.
But there was more of them in the next room, and now they knew I was here. Her wounds were fatal, she just did not know it yet. Another ran towards me, only wielding what appeared to be a boxing glove. This one deserved to die. And then the first raider succumbed to her wounds. One of the dead was carrying a double-shell shotgun, twice as good as mine. I swapped them over and kept going.
Show your face. Come on.
These raiders did not know how to act in a gunfight. Was I walking around shouting insults?
No need to hide. It'll all be over soon.
The zombies had already started walking, but I still had to deal with the living. He hit me and I was bleeding. It was not much, but it would need treatment. I searched his body and then headed down the corridor.
Huh? Only a fucking coward hides.
I had walked straight into a dead end. In fact, I believe this was the front entrance. This meant there was only upstairs left to search for the leaders. I spotted a bomb and then I disarmed it. I'd sneaked right past it earlier, so my skills in sneaking had improved so much since leaving the vault. I knew there was only zombies between me and upstairs, so I was prepared for them all.
This is bullshit. Come on, fight!
The way was now clear to the staircase, and all the talking I can hear was coming from upstairs.
Guess they were right.
I came across the kitchen on my way. I had a look around, but there was nothing I could see of any use. Apart from some bottles of beer, but now was not the time to get drunk. The staircase was dark, and eventually opened out into a large room. Yes, this was the place. This is where the leaders would be. This is where I would be. A Protectron stood in its charging unit. As the spotlights moved slowly across the large room, there was 2 heavily armoured men on the mezzanine floor above. I had the safety of range, so took my chance and opened fire. I almost killed the first, but could not get the final blow in. Well, they now knew I was there, and the fun was now going to begin.
No need to hide. We'll all be
They did not seem to know where the shots came from. A terminal was on the wall, and then the raiders found me. I was able to drop the first and then headed for cover as her friends blindly fired in my direction.
Shit! Walk!
I knew these shots would not kill him, but if I could get him bleeding it would help. Another raider came round the corner. I had to back off and wait for my chance. When it came, I took it. And my aim did not fail me. Wait, there was the robot. Maybe the terminal on the wall controlled it. If I could get to the terminal, I could turn it on. And at the very least cause a bit of chaos.
I think this asshole's using a stealth.
My skills with computers had been improving, and I was able to remove some of the fake passwords before seeking out the correct word.
I'm in.
I activated the robot and waited to see what would happen.
Powering up. Protectron on.
I would need to keep my distance, as it was set to Law Enforcer and would attack anyone who he thought was breaking the law. There was very little in the way of law in the Commonwealth. Everyone was breaking one law or another. The robot started by killing the zombies. before moving on to the raiders. I watched from a distance while it engaged the raiders.
Fugitive has been commencing attack. Violence will not be tolerated. Do not.
I had an opportunity to kill one of the raiders.
Will be identified.
But when he fell, the robot would think I'd broken its stupid laws. The only safe thing to do was to turn it off again. It had already taken care of the raiders
Unidentified intruder detected.
and gave me the chance to head upstairs to make sure the job was done.
Area. Shutdown signal received. Unit returning to charge pod. Shutting down unit off.
When it was safely away, I continued upstairs. I still had 2 gun turrets to deal with, but I knew there must be a terminal upstairs to control them. All I would need to do was sneak past them, and that was something I was getting very good at. As long as I kept out of sight, I would be okay. I took my chance to open the bridge, then waited for my chance to cross. Now was my chance. I ran and I made it to cover. There was no computer, but maybe in the other room. And there it was. I turned off the turrets. But that was not all the computer had to offer me. It had its own tale to tell. The terminal gave me information on the raiders who called Corvega their home. The second entry talked about an old woman who would take drugs to see visions. It could not be. The leader of the raiders, someone called Jared, was trying to get some kind of visions by taking large amounts of jet, but it never worked for him. This man once knew Mama Murphy, and she revealed to him he would be a monster. He wanted the site to give him the edge over the other raider gangs out there. Right, there was more gangs. I was hoping this was the only one. In the third entry, he talks about how he discovered it was not the drugs that gave Mama Murphy the sight. He was using all the raiders and his gang as guinea pigs and experimenting on them all, and with the promise of free drugs was drawing more raiders to his gang. Then he discovered there was a group of people heading through Concord, and that Mama Murphy was one of them. That was the reason the raiders attacked Preston and the other survivors. He was trying to get her back.
Excellent.
I picked up a magazine. It seems silly now, but I felt I learned something from this comic book. I searched the leader Jared's body. He had a key that I might find useful, but he was also carrying a combat rifle. I really wanted that rifle, but I was already carrying far too much. As I walked to loot the other raider's body, I spotted some more of them downstairs. They must have come to see what all the noise was about. I headed round to take care of them as quickly as I could. I fatally wounded one, and then had to fall back as the other approached. Getting into Corvega was a challenge, but I had almost forgot that I would still need to get out. I exploded the last raider. Now I needed to escape, and that would not be as easy as I had hoped. Thank you all for watching the story of my battle for Corvega. If you liked, please like and subscribe to never miss a part of my tale. Comment below or on Facebook or Twitter with all the links below. I am Shaun, insane in the game, and this is Fallout 4, and I hope to see you all in the safe zone.